Yes. And students, if you're here and need a form for your honors diploma, Ms. Smith over here has the forms, Ms. Summer. So.
Okay, yeah, I worked every game.
Yeah, I went to 2 of the 3 games my son had there.
No, there's a few here.
Am I not logged
Eddie Blue's
in?
not.
No, that's the public. How do you get to our login one?
Came with a form,
Anybody know how to get to the login?
Well, yeah, okay, but
I never get. How do you get to the login? Do you know how to get to it? I don't have it bookmarked. Can you send me the login one again? Because it's not giving me the whole, like, where I can get to the attachments and everything when I
Yep.
don't go that way.
got it.
And I just need to bookmark it.
Was it the AV?
Okay.
Like,
Or was it just a regular?
it's taking me to this one where I can't see, like, when I click show everything,
Okay.
it doesn't show everything.
Yeah. Did she
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm at the wrong one.
we did several
Okay.
Did, yeah. It all runs together, yeah. It's not like there's a sign on the
Well, that
door
would
that
help.
says-
That would help.
Right.
I'm like, why can I not see
Yeah,
it?
because they're a local paper.
It is Monday, right?
Must be.
They might be
Yep.
after high school. And kind of was done when we did like truly a flurry. And so at the end, so I do remember that
Good deal.
for sure after you said that.
But you know, it's easy to happen there. That's right.
Good. Go down the cross country thing. So we'd be going down to cross country.
Struggling.
Hi, Coach Grady. How are you? Thank you for coming.
I love your church. It's very nice.
Thanks, Wayne. It's good to see you.
That's right here.
I'm struggling today. I'm just telling y'all now.
Longest 45 seconds of the day.
What?
Longest 45 seconds of the day.
Oh. I guess we're looking up. Everybody's a little nervous. All right, I have 5:45. I will call the meeting to order. If everyone would stand for the moment of silence and the pledge. You face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Recorder, if you call the roll.
Chair Laura Harrison,
Present.
Vice Chair Jeremy Burnett,
Here.
Michelle Childs,
Here.
Keith Acton,
Is it?
Deborah Thomas.
Present.
We do have a quorum. I would like to welcome everyone to our only meeting in December, and I also would like to extend a special welcome to our one of our Lakeland Board of Commissioners member, Ms. Connie McCarter. Thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate your attendance. Dr. Horrell, will you lead us through the agenda?
I will. The first item on the agenda is the opportunity for public comment.
Would anyone from the public like to speak? Hearing none, next item.
Next item is the superintendent's report, and I want to begin with the reason I know a number of folks are here with a special recognition. One of the things that this school board likes to do, and that I certainly like to do, and we all like to do, is recognize students that have achieved outstanding things with the help of their coaches and sponsors. So we are going to move down from the dais up here and do some special recognitions, and we'll just take a moment and shift down there. All right, well, it's been extremely exciting, obviously, and we kind of tell this story a lot, but we don't get any less excited about it. It's been extremely exciting watching all of the high school programs in particular at Lakeland Preparatory School grow into success, and watch our student athletes just achieve great things. And this year was certainly a great year for the high school cross-country team. And we have been watching you guys' success and watching your progress. And if you've heard me say this, forgive me, but we mean it every time we say it. Y'all come on in. We're about to call your name. Every time as the Board of Education, certainly as superintendent, as your principal, Ms. Martin is here, as your deputy superintendent, Dr. Deloso, when you guys succeed, really whether you succeed or not, but when you go out there and put yourselves out there, whether it be in athletics or the fine arts, certainly in academics in these situations, and you wear that Lakeland name on your chest, or you wear the LP, or you wear that lion head, you are taking the work of this community, and you are sharing it with others, and others in the greater community are watching to see what you do. And what I can tell you is we're so proud of the way you conduct yourselves, and the way you work hard for your goals, and when you achieve those goals, like going to the state cross-country tournament, it really means a lot to us, and we just want to share with you our appreciation for that with just kind of a simple recognition here. I know not everybody can be here, but we're going to call the names of the folks that we knew were going to be here, and then we're going to call the rest of the names just to make sure we get everybody. So when you come up, you can come on up here. I'm going to hand you a certificate. DJ's going to take a quick picture, and then if you'll just kind of move over here, we're going to do a group picture once we're all done. Does that sound like a plan? All right. So we want to start with Max Adriano. Come on down. And over there. Get another photo. Elaine Fabacher, come on down. Get on over there. George Elkins, there you are. Stand over there. Tatum Madden. Matthew Normand. Matthew, come in. Matthew, not here. Okay, all right. Charles Snyder. There you are. Sebastian Booter. You here? You can give him a round of applause. That's all right. I get down to some that weren't able to make it. Amelia Mackus? No? That's okay. We're going to call them all out regardless. Gabe Russell? All right, you can hold your applause now until somebody walks up. We're going to call them all out. Oh, Sebastian, come on, man. Come on to me. Sebastian Buddha. There you go. You figured it out quickly. There you go. There you go. You grab that and head on over there. Got some other names. You can hold your applause, but if you're here, come on up. Macy Hale. Christina Moreno. Cameron Miller. There you go. All right. There you go. You got it. Victoria Santiago. Santiago? Did I say that wrong? Lisa Spogel. Are you here? Are we missing anybody? Is there anybody missing? Do we?
Henry, okay.
Well, where'd it go? All right, Henry, if we got this wrong, then we owe you one.
That's the one's about to say.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, sorry, yes.
You're good.
It takes the whole team to practice and prepare, so we appreciate that. And I just want to say to all you guys, I was told at one time if I had speed and endurance, I also would have been a great long-distance runner, but I have neither of those things. So it really was meaningful to me when a coach said that to me. He said, you don't have these things, but if you did, you'd be good. We also know that it takes dedicated coaches every step of the way, literally steps in cross country, to make sure that these students get the practice that they need. So we want to recognize Coach Kelly and Coach Grady. We want to give you guys some of our pins here that we like to give out for state recognition. Got your name on it. Grady, thank you. We'll get a quick pic with y'all. All right, and Ms. Martin and Dr. Deloso, if y'all want to come on up, y'all kind of shift this way with the board. We're going to do one group picture. Coaches, come on.
I don't know. I like it.
I want you guys to be front and center, and then we'll wrap around you. So if you're an athlete.
The parents, if you want your picture, now's the time. We're going to post all these on Facebook.
There you go.
You ready?
All right, I think everybody's going to see. Smile big. Awesome.
All right.
One more.
I'll just.
Okay.
Mr. Snyder.
All right. Let's have one more round of applause. And we like to make it clear you are certainly welcome to stay, but we won't be offended if you leave. If you need a board member or a board meeting form for your honors diploma, we do have these down here. If you want to knock that out while you're here.
And you need to stay for that.
And you have to stay for that.
You do have to stay for that.
Yes.
Yep.
If you want the form signed.
All right. Thank y'all.
All right, Dr. Horrell, I'll let you continue on.
Okay, thank you. Really just one more announcement I want to note because it concerns the board. We will, at the start of the new year, begin releasing the information about the SCOPE conference, which is done through TSBA, and the plan is to use the same criteria as last year, and we'll work with Ms. Biddick and Mr. Waddell. That has not been released. The specifics of that have not been released, but if there are board members that are interested in serving as the board facilitator. Thank you. Ms. Thomas has done that before. You can certainly let me know, or if there's any questions about that in the meantime. That usually goes out right after we get back from Christmas break. So that's something we're looking ahead to for this next year. And that concludes my report. The next item is the monthly financial summary, which I did share with you guys a little later than I meant to, but it is posted, so there is some context there on the financial summary. Mr. Gately Sweat is here if any of the board members have any questions, but right now, as he noted, everything is trending as it should be at this point in the financial year.
So, Dr. Horrell, I'm going to circle back real quick before the SCOPE conference, just for, I know, Deborah, you've been before, but for the rest of the board's information, actually, I just observed last year, my son was one of the attendees, and the way he spoke about the things he learned about in there, it was really a very positive experience for seeing different viewpoints and understanding how to talk to other kids and learn. And there was even the last debate or whatever they had was where they just let the seniors participate. So they had kids with more mature ideas, I guess would be the right way to say it, instead of letting the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, they had the seniors participate. So some of the feedback that I heard about it, it was a really positive interaction that they got there with how that SCOPE conference went. So I just wanted to give the board that feedback that it definitely was worth our time and what we do to invest in kids going and participating in that. So, all right.
And it is board sponsored, so
Yes.
it is an investment from the board. So thank y'all for that, for making that happen for these kids. Good.
So any questions on the financial summary?
Okay.
Hearing none, next item.
Next item is the legislative liaison update. I know that there are some updates from Ms. Childs this time.
Ms.
Yes.
Childs, the floor is yours.
Yes, so we were fortunate that we were able to host 3 of our local legislators last week at Lakeland Preparatory School. We had Senator Brent Taylor, Representative Tom Leatherwood, and Representative Mark White, who is also the education chair. And they all spent a very generous amount of time with us. They each of them toured 4 classrooms. And I definitely want to say a huge thank you to Ms. Martin and her staff and every teacher who was gracious to let us come through and interrupt their important lessons so that our legislators could get a feel for what our particular school district looks like, feels like, the types of classes that we have, and some of the examples of classes they got to see was our special education functional skills, where our older students are learning practical and social skills. And they also got to, some of them, this is a sampling of some of what they got to see, was criminal justice. We had several AP classes. We had a chemistry lab. We had dual enrollment classes, marketing. Senator Taylor got to press a shirt in that class. And so I think they all expressed to us that, they really appreciated the work that we do. We presented, because it was not just myself, Dr. Horrell was also present, and Ms. Thomas was able to go, as well as some of our administrators. And we definitely presented our legislative agenda, and specifically about the preschool special education funding. We have lots of support from everyone. I felt like it was more Jerry Maguire, show me the money. Is there, how do we get it actually funded? So we continue to advocate for that. But overall, I think it was a very positive experience, and we really appreciate that every year when we ask them, they immediately respond and show up, and are very gracious and generous to come visit.
Any questions for Ms. Childs? Ms. Burnett?
Not a question, just a comment. I just want to say again, how great a job Ms. Childs does at being our legislative liaison, keeping those open lines of communication with our legislators so that when she reaches out, they respond. And as I think we heard at TSBA, there are other school districts where that is not the case. And so I think that's incredibly important that we keep those healthy relationships, and I appreciate what you do for that.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Any more comments? Yes, thank you, Ms. Childs. You do a great job. That's why we continue to nominate you with no with no qualms to serve every year. You really do a thorough and amazing job, and I thank you for all the time that you put into it, because it does take a lot of time. So thank you so much. Next item.
Next item is the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Next item.
Next item is the consent agenda. There are 5 items on the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any items anybody wishes to remove from the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
As we begin the discussion, action items, first item is approval of Resolution 2025-1201, a resolution authorizing the split of Lakeland Preparatory into separate middle and high schools.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell.
Yes, I'm going to, for starters, just read the resolution. I don't always do that, but I think in this case it tells the story, and just read it into the record, and so that the public, if they're not looking at the agenda right now, will be aware. Whereas Lakeland Preparatory School currently serves 1,680 students in grades 5 through 12, and whereas Lakeland Preparatory School supports separate middle and high school academic courses, athletic teams, clubs, school support organizations, and events, and whereas the Lakeland Board of Education desires to maximize the opportunities, supports, and academic growth for all students in Lakeland school system, and whereas separate administrative teams focused on either high school or middle school grades and activities may lead to greater innovation, communication, supervision, responsiveness, and development of school culture for all students, and whereas feedback from LSS stakeholder surveys and in-person community sessions have suggested benefits that could be realized by separating middle and high school administrative structures. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lakeland School System Board of Education directs the superintendent to take any and all steps necessary to formally establish a separate middle school to serve students in grades 5 through 8 on the campus of Lakeland Preparatory School beginning in the 26-27 school year. Be it further resolved that the superintendent is directed to bring back recommendations for further actions requiring board approval that are necessary to establish the new separate middle school, including but not limited to the recommendation of a school name for the middle school. So that pretty much tells the story, but just a little bit of background. This is an ongoing conversation, and I know the board knows this, but just for the public, one of the things that was in the 5-year strategic plan for the Board of Education was an annual analysis of the administrative and organizational structures of the schools. And this is something that's kind of been in the back of our minds. We obviously established the middle school first and then added the high school, and it was intentional that it was a combined middle and high school. But the thought, now that we've grown into the full 8 grades at Lakeland Preparatory School. The question just keeps coming up. Would it be more convenient? Would it allow for more focus? Does it allow for more innovation if there were actually 2 leaders of the schools, one for the 5 through 8 middle school and one for the high school? One thing that I know it's important for the board to know, it's certainly important for me to note, Corey Martin has just done a phenomenal job of running the middle school while she was building grade level by grade level by grade level for the last 4 years, the high school grades at Lakeland Preparatory School. And we're in a unique, well, it's not unique, but it's unusual structure, having 5th grade, which can kind of swing towards elementary in terms of structure and culture. You have the middle school, which is its own distinct kind of grade band, and then obviously the high school, which we've been building up over the last 4 years. I don't know of a lot of people that could have done it as successfully as she has, and I know the board and I are all grateful for that. And in fact, I think one reason to do this is to make sure that we have a structure that's sustainable, because I don't know that you find another Corey Martin whenever that day is, and somebody's looking to take on a job like that. It's just a really big job. We have very involved students, very involved parents, very involved clubs, athletics, everything. So this is certainly, I think, as the board has suggested and had the input into this resolution individually, a way to try to maximize those opportunities. I think for most folks, for the most part, the parents, the students, their experience won't change dramatically. Again, just for the public's understanding, right now we're not, certainly I'm not recommending a change in start times, a change in how students get to and from school. Students would still ride the buses together. But the idea is that communication would be split. Hopefully it would be clearer in terms of chain of command. If you had an issue, concern, suggestion, whatever the case may be at the middle school, there would be a separate principal than the one at the high school. And I think, as we've also acknowledged and kind of learned, culture's a little bit different from middle school to high school. So you have potentially, in this case, leaders that can kind of build those individual cultures. And the hope would be that we still are able, as a school system and as two schools on one campus, to take advantage of the opportunities that closeness would still provide. We still, some access there back and forth. I think there'd be some cases where certain staff members work with both schools, certainly, but there would be a clearer, we hope, division of duties. So that is what is before the board tonight. This is just the first step, and if the board approved this resolution, my charge, as I see it, would be to immediately move forward with identifying the principal of the high school.
Is there any discussion on this item? I will say, I'll speak up. I will say I appreciate everything Ms. Martin has done. It is no small task. I can't even describe what Ms. Martin has had to take on to grow this into the full K-12 system, and the things that they had to think about and be very intentional about, which they did an amazing job. They had to think 1, 2, and 3 years ahead. So I am really appreciative of everything she did to get us here, and now I feel like this gives her as a principal and another principal the opportunity to focus in on the grades in the grade bands in which they're assigned, because as you spoke to, it's a different focus for middle and high school. So taking and narrowing down the focus potentially allows better opportunities, like you said, innovation, maybe better learning, different ways to look at it, because you're not trying to put your hands around 8 grades, you're trying to put your hands around 4 grades and what that looks like for 4 grades. So I very much support this and feel like this is the logical next step to take our education, our overall education environment to the next level. All right, yes, Mr.
Ms.
Burnett.
Harrison said.
Any more discussion? Yes.
I will speak up. I would like to thank Ms. Martin for building a foundation, a culture that has brought us here today to where we are and having our first graduation class. And she has just been very instrumental in that. So thank you I wish she was here so we could to share
She
our
told me
praises.
she had to leave, and it might, she knew this was a big thing on the agenda, but
Wish
she had
was
to make
here,
an
but
appointment.
please share our praises to her and just know that we're not here today without her.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Yes, Ms. Childs.
Yeah, so I echo the comments made by the board. I think Ms. Martin had to have a hand or be the one that hired basically the entire staff of grades 5 through, the high school grades,
High school
for sure.
grades,
Yeah, the
yep.
high school grades, which was a phenomenal amount of, staff and teachers to hire. And so, and for the reasons already said in the resolution, I support this. I did want to ask, because we may get some of these questions, could you just speak to, I think most of the booster boards, have changed to be high school, but there are a few that cover middle and high school, particularly PTO. Could you just speak to, what that looks like on practically speaking, because others may have some questions about that?
Sure, and let me note that we're putting together an email address called Lakeland Prep Questions at lakelandk12.org. So if there are members of the community or staff or anybody else, we're going to make that available tomorrow. I'm going to send some communication out to staff members. Something will also go out to parents that gives them an opportunity to ask questions like that, because that's a great question. There's some questions that we're probably not ready to answer just yet. But in terms of school support organizations, SSOs really have the flexibility to function as they would like. There are some SSOs that support multiple schools. There are some SSOs that support, for example, one sport at multiple schools. So it would really be at their discretion, and it's kind of similar to how it is right now. Right now, the SSOs, some had the option of, do you want it to be 512 or do you want to split off? And technically speaking, an SSO could still raise funds for both schools at once. It may lead to some, it might make it more difficult for them, but it might not, in some cases. So most of that would come down to the decisions of those boards. But that's a great question. Another question I just kind of want to anticipate, that there will be a place for all of the current administrators within this structure. So the idea is that the administration would be split off into dedicated administration, members of the high school and the middle school, but every member of the current administration would have a place under this new organization. So I do think that's important.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is approval of Resolution 2025-1202, a resolution authorizing execution of the sale of property to the state of Tennessee for US 70 right-of-way plans.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell?
Yeah, this is this concerns a very, very small piece of property. Essentially, this has to do with the property that the Board of Education owns at US 70 and New Seed Tick Road. If you've seen the Seed Tick being extended up to New Seed Tick, there's a piece of property there that is for a future elementary school potentially, but it's owned by the Board of Education, and there will be traffic light improvements there. As you know, the board was involved in this. There's a temporary light there, and there's a very small amount of property. It's 643 square feet that we've been asked to sell to the state of Tennessee for $1,675. So our ship has finally come in. Big payday there for that investment. But it is owned by the Board of Education. Therefore, the Board of Education must approve that sale. So I am recommending that.
Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is before we do that, can I
Yes.
add, Mr. Chairman, can I
Yes.
add something out of order? There is one piece of information that is I intended to share and did not, and I would like to,
Yes.
and it has to do with, I'm not asking for any further action, it has to do with the split of Lakeland Preparatory. And this is an important piece for folks' information. Ms. Martin has been involved in the discussion on this. She's been aware and was essentially given the opportunity to say in this split if she would prefer to be the principal of the middle school or the high school. I can tell you this was a very difficult decision for her. It's almost, I think she'd liken it to kind of choosing your favorite child because she loves both so much and has put so much into both. But she has let me know that in this situation, her presumption was that if the board approved, then she would continue to lead the middle school. So I think I mentioned posting for a high school position, but I was not really clear that would mean that Corey Martin would be the middle school principal under this new configuration. So I apologize for leaving that out. It's important, and that'll be in our communication that goes out. Okay, the effective date would be it would be July 1, 26 of 26. So for the 26-27 school year.
Thank you for that clarification. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Item number 3.
All right, item number 3, approval of new policy 2.205, unassigned fund balance and cash balance. This is a first reading of this policy.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Hoyle?
Yes, first of all, I want to thank our Chief of Finance, Tristan Gately-Sweat, for putting this proposal together. And I want to note this proposal came before the news of Shelby County government basically taking out a loan because of cash flow issues. So I hate to even link the two, but this is something he's been talking about and proposing for quite some time. Essentially what this does, and this has also been discussed and got a lot of feedback from the Board of Education, what this does is takes a percentage of the annual budget for any given year and assigns a minimum level of unassigned fund balance that would be essentially set aside. So, and in this case, it's 17% of the next year's budget would be set aside as essentially kind of untouchable. That would be set aside for cash flow issues. And to kind of give some background, while we obviously work on an annual budget, and the vast majority of the things that we budget for are salaries, and those salaries almost always are paid out in regular intervals. So you can count on them. There's 26 26 payrolls that are run, and pretty much they're all the same. The money that we take in does not come in regular intervals, and in fact, it has to do with property tax. There are some things that come in on regular intervals, but basically, long story short, even though our expenses may stay relatively stable, the cash that we're taking in does not, and therefore the budget on paper does not necessarily reflect what we have in the bank at any given time. So what Mr. Gately-Sweat is proposing is that we set an amount that's a set aside that allows us to kind of have the cash flow that we need pretty much no matter what. It gives us a certain percentage that is help me, how many months is that supposed to kind of cover? 2 months. So it'd be 2 months worth of budgeted operating expenses that the board would have set aside. I will note that this policy as written does have some flexibility if the board feels like, for whatever reason, we need to dip below that and take advantage of fund balance to spend. It kind of maybe forces a thoughtful discussion about what that would look like. So I know that this board is extremely fiscally conservative and thoughtful, and this seems like now that we've established a healthy fund balance, this seems like the next step in that fiscal stewardship. So that is what you have before you.
Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And reminder, this is a first reading, so this will be on our January agenda.
Correct.
Okay, next item.
Next item is approval of amendment to policy 2.805 purchasing.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Dr. Hoyle.
I'm actually going to speak to kind of 4 and 5 together because they're related. This is essentially, and I'll thank Mr. Burnett for kind of bringing this to our attention, trying to clear up some ambiguity under purchasing policy in terms of what the superintendent may approve within the budget without coming back to the board. So this has to do both with clarifying, but also making sure that we're able to operate efficiently. And what this does is define minor capital projects and special purchases. So in these next 2 policies, basically, they have to do with saying that if it costs less than $50,000, it is not a capital project, not defined as a capital project that would need to come before the board, assuming that the money is in the budget. And also talks about special purchases that says if they are below $50,000, then special purchases do not need to come back before the board. So I thank Mr. Burnett for kind of bringing that to our attention and recommending both these just to clarify and erase ambiguity.
Is there any discussion on these items? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
So I think we probably need to get the next one back before the board. I think we just approved 2.805 because that was the one I
Yes.
called as before the board. So the next item is approval of amendment to policy 3.209, estimating facility costs.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and you have already introduced this. Is there any clarification, any additional information the board needs? Any discussion on this item? Yes, Mr. Burnett.
I just want to say thank you, Dr. Horrell, for the discussion we had on this. In my other world, there's lots more policies around what is a capital improvement, capital renovation, capital maintenance, and I think this eliminates any ambiguity to keep everything on track. So
Absolutely.
appreciate
I
that.
appreciate it too.
Any more discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is approval of amendment to policy 4.205.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell.
Okay, I'm going to do the same thing and kind of take these in a group and kind of address them together because they are related. We have had an ongoing conversation individually with the board members regarding making sure that our policies on courses and grading and honor roll and class ranking and thing basically all sync with our practice. So what we wanted to do was make sure that the policy matches the high school academic planning guide. And there were a couple of cases where, again, there was some ambiguity over dual enrollment courses specifically, and we've kind of cleared that up, we feel like, with the parents and the students that were involved in those courses, but again, wanted to make sure the policy reflected it. So what this does is basically codify the idea that based on Tennessee State Board of Education rules, that dual enrollment courses, even if they are only semester-long high school courses, actually, in fact, count as one full credit for the purpose of substitutions for high school graduation requirements. However, we also wanted to clarify that for the purposes of weighting and class ranking and grade point averages and things of that nature, that they would not double count. So if you take a semester-long dual enrollment class, it does count one full high school credit towards your graduation requirements, but still only counts as a semester credit in terms of ranking, GPA, weighting, and those kind of things. So this was an attempt to clarify that. It also clarifies that Lakeland School System will not publish class ranks. And again, this has been shared by Ms. Biddick. We're not a class ranking school system, and instead would use a laud system for recognizing student achievement at graduation and elsewhere. But if students request class ranks, then we will make those available. So that's a lot, and we tried to catch it in several places. I will note there was one suggestion from Ms. Biddick that we wanted to clarify, and it is in both 4.205 and 4.6, is that right, Ms. Thomas, Deborah? Or those are the two, where we wanted to clarify in both cases the language. Is that all right, Ms. Chairman, if I go ahead and make that suggestion? Let me get that. Okay, in 4.205, it currently says a dual enrollment course earning 3 college credit hours shall count for 1 high school credit. My recommended amendment there is a dual enrollment course earning 3 or more college credit hours shall count for 1 high school credit. She pointed out that we have a handful of classes that actually award 4 college credits. So I think it's covered in there, but again, to avoid any ambiguity, it would be 3 or more.
All right, well, then I will make a motion to amend it to say 3 or more. I'm trying to get my Zoom to work, and it's not really working. So I'll make a motion to amend. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, all in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment passes. We are back on the main policy. Any more clarifications? Hearing none, oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Thomas.
That's okay. Can we cross-reference this policy, 4.205? Can we add 4.600 down there at the bottom?
Yes, we can request that from TSBA just to make sure that they get that.
Okay.
Any more clarifications, amendments, anything? All right, all in favor of the amended policy, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The policy amendment, or policy as amended passes. Next item.
Next item is approval of amendment to policy 4.600 grading system.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. You've already spoken to this, but any clarifications? Was this one where you had additional language clarification?
I do actually, and Ms. Thomas made a great suggestion, if that's still the direction you'd like to go. Ms. Thomas was actually on page 3, under credits, lines 5, 6, and 7. Her, I think, very good suggestion was to take the language from 4.205 that was just amended and actually replace it. It essentially says the same thing, but that way the language would be exactly the same on the two policies. So the recommended amendment would be to replace page 3, lines 5, 6, and 7 with the language, if you'll give me just a second. Almost there. With the language, a dual enrollment course earning 3 or more college credit hours shall count for 1 high school credit for the purposes of meeting graduation requirements, for the purposes of calculating class rank, grade point average, and class valedictorian or salutatorian. Grades earned in semester dual enrollment courses shall be calculated as semester courses.
Ms. Thomas, are you making that amendment?
Yes, I would like to make that amendment.
All right, I will second that amendment. Any discussion on that amendment?
And can we cross-reference that one at the bottom of, can we cross-reference 4.205 at the
Yes.
bottom of 4.600? Okay.
Hearing no discussion on the amendment, all in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are back on the main policy. Any more discussion on the main policy? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the policy as amended, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The policy as amended is approved. Next item.
Next item is approval of amendment to policy 4.602 honor roll awards and class ranking.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell.
Yes, this is several changes that are in line with the other discussion. This would change the name of this to academic distinctions, grade point average, and class rank, along with the changes noted.
Any discussion on this item? Dr. Horrell, just for clarification, I think we've had this discussion before. If a student wanted or needed their class rank for scholarship purposes or whatever, they could obtain it. It just would not be printed or in that way.
Correct. It will not be published, essentially.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. All right, just for that clarification. Yes, Mr. Burnett.
I just appreciate laying all of this out in policy so there isn't, well, I like it this way, I thought it was this way. Again, we're eliminating that ambiguity for people to do. And then to what Ms. Harrison said, the counseling department will publish an annual plain language guide to GPA that will include, I hope, that how do I obtain my ranking if that's important in that college application process. So,
Yep.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any more discussion on this item? Yes, Ms. Childs.
And if you could clarify, nothing's being changed for our current seniors.
That's correct, and I thanks for bringing that up. Basically, this is making the policy reflect what has been shared for our current seniors. So if there was going to be a change to, what the board desired or what we wanted to be implemented at the schools, at this point, that would have to come through policy first. Admittedly, this was one of those where kind of practice and procedure in getting the high school started and making those decisions that had to be made to prepare for this year got made, and now we're going back and putting it in policy. Probably ideally, I would have brought this at the same time, but when we do find discrepancies in that, we try to clean them up. So that's what we're doing.
Any more discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Policy is passed, or amended policy is passed. Next item.
Next item is policy 4.605 graduation requirements.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell.
Okay, essentially what this does is also an attempt to clear up some ambiguity, and in one case there is essentially a change of policy because the policy would change what is allowed. We wanted to clarify and add some additional context to the state Move On When Ready program, and the state has basically by state law, there are specific requirements that allow a student to essentially graduate with a different set of graduation requirements than the regular state graduation requirements, and those are very specific to certain groups of students that have met certain requirements. But that's not the same thing necessarily as early graduation. The board and I have also had a conversation about, is early graduation possible in any situation? And that's outside of Move On When Ready. And so currently, without this amendment, a student in Lakeland school system could not graduate early at all under any circumstances. What this says is that a student who has met these criteria could graduate no earlier than the end of the first semester of the fourth year of high school. So it's not just open season, graduate whenever you want. Congratulations on finishing your 9th grade year. Good luck. We'll see you at graduation. But you could do it and essentially sit out that second semester of your senior year. There is some specific language in here that says if you chose to do that, you would effectively be done as a student. You're allowed to come back and participate and walk in graduation in May, but you would not, in that case, continue to play sports, continue to participate in clubs, continue to be part of other activities on campus. I think we're finding, just to give some rationale, that increasingly there are opportunities for students to leave early once they've gotten all their credits and go even begin their college coursework, either as athletes or as academics or anything else. So we did want to provide a certain level of flexibility and wanted to define exactly what that would look like. So I appreciate the board's feedback on this as well.
Any discussion on this item? Ms. Childs?
Yeah, I appreciate bringing this forward. I think this will be, I suspect, very rare that it's used. However, we do have a large portion of military families that could be affected where, a student may not want to start over their last semester of their senior year and could be eligible for this. So there could be a few exceptions. I think most students are pretty pleased getting basically free or cheap dual enrollment classes their senior year. So I feel like that's a huge bargain on the college front. As well as AP, of course. But, I do appreciate having this flexibility because other school districts do offer a similar type of early graduation. So, thank you.
Any more discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
No further items.
Are there any announcements? No announcements. I don't see it on here. What policies do we cover this month?
We don't.
We don't have any in
We have
December?
the month of December off, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you go. I like your schedule.
Enjoy your holiday.
I like your schedule. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? We are adjourned.
And yet I think we did probably the